Hey there, I'm Donna Polk, and this is Real Relatable. People often look at us and think we've got it all together. But let's be honest, life, it's messy. It's full of curveballs, quiet battles, and growth moments we don't always talk about. This podcast is your reminder you are not alone. Each episode will show up no filters, no facades, just real conversations about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. We'll celebrate the wins, embrace the struggles, and challenge each other to grow into our best, most authentic selves. Because when we get vulnerable, when we open up, we become that much more real and that much more relatable. So come as you are. This space is for you. Welcome to Real Relatable.
We're back.
Hello again.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Real Relatable. Okay. Everybody, welcome back Laura and Mandy to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Again.
Love it.
I feel very official right now with our little recording studio.
You are so official.
It is official.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. A shout out to Mandy for finding the Unbound at Meridian Library. So we are coming back to you with more of our relationship and dating shenanigans. And I think this episode is actually going to be really fun because this is a podcast about a podcast, essentially. So,
yeah, that's true.
So I tasked everyone with listening to Jay Shetty's podcast with Sadia, who is a relationship expert. And the episode that they did was called Stop Ignoring Red Flags and How to Train Your Brain to Know When to Walk Away. And I've listened to this episode 3 times. I don't know about you guys, but what did you think about the episode?
I listened to it when you first sent it to us, so a few weeks ago, and then again today. And I actually wrote some stuff down that stood out to me. And it was definitely like I needed to hear it in this time of, whatever's happening. Nothing's happening, but,
something's happening.
I gave
just
you
in this
a little,
time
just in this moment, I guess. So it was good to hear those things. And so it kind of did, it kind of did resonate more than last time. Last time I paid attention to it, but I was just like, I already know this.
Yeah.
But I paid more attention to it this time. And of course, every time that I'm like, I go through these stages of doing these things, and like I do already know these things, but it's just like a good reminder because I, go back and forth quite a bit.
We return to what's comfortable, or what's familiar. So I totally get that.
Yeah. I feel like this was maybe one of the most insightful podcasts I've ever listened to when it comes to dating and relationships. I also, like Laura, listened to it a couple weeks ago and then today, and then took a ton of notes. I feel like I can also get in that mindset where I'm like, whatever, I know this stuff, but then when you put it into practice, I'm like, do I? Really? So it's more about how it resonates. Like, I feel like it just this time, just the same as you, it was like, this is really resonating with me and really wise.
Yeah, it's hard to not go back to what's familiar, or like they even said it in the episode where they're talking about, but I really like this guy, and you maybe give yourself up in a physical way, or maybe you make some compromises that really are not true to yourself, and then at the end of the day, unfortunately, you kind of end up screwing yourself over, right? Because that's not going to work out. And
Absolutely.
so part of what stood out to me also, I'm going to lovingly call the la la la. It's the 3 A's for women and the 3 L's for men.
Yes.
And so if you recall from the episode, Sadia mentions that there's the 3 A's for women to ideally be in place to have a successful relationship. So you have to have attraction, adoration, and admiration. And so without those, a relationship isn't going to last, probably. And it totally resonated with me, and I'll get into some examples here, but that just really hit home. And then for the men, they need the 3 L's. So they need to have lust, loyalty, and labor. So basically, I guess breaking each of these down, attraction, we know what attraction is. You have to be attracted to your man for a woman. or to your person, let's say that. And then for adoration, you need to feel like you're being adored by that person. Like, how do they show me that they love me, right? Or do I feel like important to them? Or do I feel, really kind of catered to? And then the admiration, you need to admire them for the person that they are. And if you don't have one of those, it's probably not going to work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll crumble.
Yeah. And then for the men with their 3 L's, so we're looking at loyalty. Do they have, someone that is loyal to them? The labor, can they do the manly things, the masculine things for this person? Can they help provide, etc.? And then for the lust, like, what's that attraction to them? Like, of course, we all know men and their hormones and the things. So, like, are they lusting for you or what?
They kind of have to. Yeah.
They have to.
I feel like maybe in the end it's really adoration, because I feel like there was admiration and attraction in my last relationship, but like at the end of the day, if we can't sustain it, was it really adoration? Like, did he really adore me? Did I adore him? Was it reciprocated? So I think, like, if I were to choose what was missing, that would be the key element.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Laura?
I would agree, just from what's coming up, just from more recent experiences, because I don't think I've really necessarily been with someone that I'm not attracted to one way or another. Mm-hmm. And then I guess I could say for more in the past, I haven't really had admiration for everybody, and that's just me being naive and not really caring about certain things, just kind of overlooking.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the more recent experiences, so I guess to kind of go back a little bit, the adoration, when I first listened to the episode, I was thinking, adoration me for him, but then I listened to it again and she says adoration from them to you. Mm-hmm. And I know it has to go both ways, sure. But I was like, oh, that makes more sense, because you do have to have that from them, because if they don't freaking love the ground you walk on, you don't have him. Yeah. You don't have anything, really. You just have you loving them.
Yeah,
basically. Yeah. And then them not. It's almost like that thing that I hear and see a lot. It's almost like they have to be more into you than you are into them.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Have we talked about the black cat and the golden retriever?
We've not, no.
Here. Not? Yeah. Okay. So the black cat and the golden retriever essentially is a relationship dynamic where, let's say in a heterosexual relationship, the guy is a golden retriever, and they're just like, love you, like they're just all over, I'll do whatever you want, when you want it, like all the things. And then the black cat in a heterosexual relationship, we're talking about a woman who's just like, okay, dog, like I said, do this, bark, you sit, like whatever.
Like, I'm too good for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Freaking black cat.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
What,
exactly.
they do or anyone thinks about them.
Yeah.
I think, like, for me in those scenarios, I often wonder if, because I feel like I'm more of a golden retriever, like, just to be honest, like, because I am. Yeah. And, like, sometimes I wonder if I can be put off by men because they're not matching my energy, but then I'm like, is my energy maybe, I don't want to say too much because I don't think I'm too much, right. But is it a higher level than what I should expect from them?
Yeah, I don't remember where I saw this, but this just made sense to me that you can have 2 golden retrievers together. Mm-hmm. So maybe you need another golden retriever. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But like you being the golden retriever and the guy being the black hat doesn't work according to this theory, right. Which I get from experience.
Yeah, I have many thoughts about this theory because it sounds like very, okay, sure, that kind of makes sense. But then I heard other people talking about how, well, essentially you don't want a golden retriever, like it's kind of demeaning towards men a little bit. And I don't agree with it fully, but I do think that there's a certain level of truth behind it.
Yeah, I get the principle. Like, obviously, you don't want them to just be like a doormat either, right?
Exactly.
Like, and that's what maybe it kind of sounds like. They just do whatever you say. I know I jokingly was saying that, but they also,
It's just the visual of it.
Yeah, right. Also, because we talk about, we've had nicknames for some of the guys in our lives and previously, and one of them being El Perrito, and very much so that kind of golden retriever energy, right? And I guess in this instance, in that experience, for sure, for me, I was lacking admiration because they were getting on my nerves.
100% you were.
I was absolutely lacking admiration.
Yes.
But in other relationships, like even if I think about my marriage, I was missing adoration from my husband, right? And that was a point of, not contention, but that was a point of misalignment for sure in our relationship. And so, getting to listen to this episode and hear what Sadia is, putting out there, and she's just like spitting game like the whole time.
I know. I'm like, how does she just say all these things and she just knows it off the top of her head? It sounds like, I don't know. And then I read the comments, of course.
Oh, did you really? What the comments say?
I just have to see both sides, what people are saying from both sides. And some people are like, who is this lady and why does she, how does she come up with this stuff? Like, how does one really, are these facts or is just another person's theory,
She's saying it's from what she's seen.
Okay.
So of her experience. And I think that was a lot of her stance too, is like from my experience or like the couples that she's I thought she did a great job and of like really breaking it down.
Yeah,
and
simplifying it.
And Shetty being someone that I've mentioned on the podcast before, of like someone that I followed for a while, books that I've listened to and really gotten to, I guess, transform my thinking in a sense, or help me get through some really challenging times in my life. And so I'm like, I trust just about 95% of what this man says, or like maybe the guests that he's bringing on and their expert opinions. And I just felt like she kind of read me to filth, and I low-key accept that. And I haven't had anyone to like date or test this theory on since I've listened to the episode. So I'm kind of like unsure of how this is going to play out for future, but it's certainly something to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you already have your blueprint with your application.
Yes, my application.
I'm curious, though, in your mind, like, how are you setting this up? Because so you want to test a theory, so what is it going to be? Like, what's the visual for us to see? Like, you go on a date with someone, and then what will the difference be?
Like, do I admire who they are? Or maybe, I don't want to say what they do from a monetary standpoint, just like what they do in life in general. So maybe hobbies, it could be they volunteer in Big Brothers, Little Brothers, or whatever that organization is. You know what I'm saying? Like something that's really admirable.
Yeah, their values and how they carry themselves and how they actually are as humans, not just like what do they do.
Yeah, exactly. And just how they approach the world. So that would be really important to me. And then obviously attraction is attraction. And then for the adoration, I want to feel like you worship the ground that I walk on. So that's, that's the other part of that. I think you have to be a little bit careful with it though, because you do have like attraction that can build, I think. Like the more that maybe you admire who they are, then you're more attracted to them, or maybe the more that they adore you, you can be more attracted to them if they are the right person.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, I can see that. But a lot of the times, it's like the instant physical attraction, which I've kind of learned not to just immediately go off of that. Yeah. Because that doesn't. But weirdly enough, it feels, for me at least, like that is what I'm getting, what I've gotten. It just feels like men just like the way that I look, and then that's about as far as it goes, because then they lack taking the time to actually get to know me, or if they do, it doesn't last too long, or it just feels like it's just surface level that way, and I just hate that. Yeah.
That's just so interesting that you said that. I just had a conversation with one of my best friends that I said the exact same thing, because I'm like, I feel like maybe that it's wonderful to feel like you're attractive. It's wonderful to feel like, oh, you're beautiful. But then I'm like, okay, and then that's it? Like,
what else
is that it?
Like about me? Yeah.
But I think that, like, this all plays into that. And also your self-concept and your self-esteem and where you're at there. Because I know that when I'm feeling in that place, like, I will, like I told that guy this weekend, like, I was so Twitter-pated over, like, how much attention he was giving me, but then it just fizzled out, like, the next day, and it was like, okay, I didn't have the adoration, attraction, admiration, you know, like, it wasn't all there.
Tell us more about this guy. What was his name?
Yeah, okay.
Just make up a name for him.
Okay, his name was...
Carlos.
Robert.
Yes.
Roberto.
Yeah.
It's the silliest little thing, and it's actually, like, it's humorous. I'm laughing about it. But, so, he had come up to me at Ocho's, where we frequent, and I happened to be volunteering early that day for the lesson. I didn't even want to, and so, like, I was just kind of, like, up there, like, whatever. And so he kind of, like, left the lesson, and he walked down the stairs, and then he, like, came back up, and then he, like, made a comment to me, and then he finally came up to me. He's like, I've been noticing you for weeks. And I was
weeks?
Like, yeah.
Weeks? Not even like minutes or hours? Or...
Like, I didn't say this to him, but I was like, I've never noticed him. Like, I've never, like, whatever, you know.
What'd you say? Just, I know.
Yeah.
Like, who are you?
I was like, of course you have. And so then, like, the rest of the night he spent really getting to know me. He got nervous when everyone showed up, and he was like, I can't be up here anymore. This isn't my scene anymore, because he's just starting out dancing, and I don't know if you guys remember how it feels, but
sure. Yeah.
So instead we went down and, like, spent the whole night getting to know each other, and he was just like, he went outside and he's like, I'm so happy because you're just so beautiful, and I've just been, you know, and I thought he was attractive too. And so then we made a plan for the next day because we had salsa under the stars in Freddie's class, and so the first thing I noticed about me was when he came to the class, he was a little bit late, and I gave him no attention. I got nervous. I got shy. I, like, literally was, like, frozen. And then I finally did, and he reached out to grab my hand, and I kind of pulled back. And so I noticed that about me. Like, okay, I was a little shy. But then when we got to the event, I wasn't so much. And then I went past one of my boundaries that I just made, which was that I don't want to do anything physical until they've proven themselves to me. But I was so flattered by, like, all the talk that I did kiss him.
Everything just went out the window.
Everything went out the window.
Well, a kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your boundary, but a kiss is not...
It's not I mean, I kissed him a lot. Like, I don't even know if, like, everyone... Like, it was, like, just watching me kiss this guy.
Sure.
I didn't see him.
But so then I'm thinking, like, oh, he's really great. We have a lot in common. We have kids the same age. We're getting along so well. And then he's just like, I should probably apologize to you. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And he's like, I feel like maybe last night I was a little too pushy to you, and I'm really sorry. And I'm like, okay, well, can you clarify that? And I was just being honest. Like, maybe it was too soon after 24 hours, but I was like, I just recently got out of a situation where someone was very unclear about their intentions. It was very back and forth. So if you could just clarify what you mean, that would be wonderful. And he was like, oh, I'm just saying that I'm just newly divorced. I just got divorced a month ago. And I was like, oh. And he's like, and I'm just a mess. And I was like, okay, well, if you're not interested, that's fine. He had been separated for quite a while before the official divorce. And he goes, no, I'm definitely interested. And so, again, I didn't, like, stick with my boundary of being like, okay, I need to be clear, because after that, I still wasn't clear. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, why are you telling me this? And then being like, no, I am interested. Mm-hmm. And so we continued on with the night, but I sent him, like, a video of us dancing, and I said something along the lines of, like, oh, you know, you're a natural. Hopefully next time we hang out, we could just do something, I think I said sober, because we had a few drinks. And then he said, oh, not too shabby. And that was it. And I was like, okay. So he didn't reciprocate that. And so it was just like, just kind of like this humorous story. But it's also like, this is why it's really important to stick to our own boundaries. Because then I'm like reeling the next day of, I didn't want to kiss anyone. I know a kiss isn't a big deal.
Sure.
Like, it's not.
I don't mean to dismiss
No.
your boundary or anything.
No, I totally get that. I know it's not a big deal. In general, for me, it isn't either. It's just that I know how my emotions have been lately. And so I was like, I want a guy to work for it.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And here we are.
Well, I think it's good, though, that you did, ask him to clarify pretty early on. You weren't, like, still entertaining him for a few weeks or months or whatever, and then asked him.
I mean, the rest of the night I still was entertaining him.
No, but it's just, like, one night.
It's one night.
Yeah, it's
totally.
not like...
Yeah, it's just...
So I think it's good. I think you should be proud of yourself for asking him that. And that... It's like he's not on the same page as you, so that's why he's not reciprocating, because he's like, oh, she wants more, or to actually date or whatever. Like, now he knows you have some expectation, not just making out.
Right. But I feel like it comes back to that comment of, like, was it just because he wanted to, like, spend, like, the night with a pretty girl? Like, was that it?
Probably.
Yeah.
That's very possible, especially if he just got out of a divorce. And, like, what Sadia was saying in the episode, too, was saying, like, if you have someone who has just recently gotten out of a relationship or a marriage and has not taken the time to heal, they're going to be their pattern, whatever that is. So jumping into another long-term relationship or just looking to hook up, and they will seemingly love bomb you, right? Yeah. And so he's saying the nice things, and that's probably really flattering to you because, respectfully, it sounds like your pattern too. That feels good, right? Like you have that love and that, I guess, desire to have that romantic feeling, or that, like, romanticized sort of story. And he was catering to that a little bit, right?
Roberto. Yes, no, I agree. I totally agree. I see it, and it's not like it was one night, so I'm not, like, spiraling or too upset. Sure. It was just more of a interesting, like, learning lesson about yourself.
And it'll be interesting to see if he goes back to Ocho's.
Right?
Well, and it's funny, too, because I feel like, I mean, this is neither here nor there. I don't even know if this has to do with the episode, but it was really funny because I feel like everyone that, like, came across us was like, better treat her good. And it was like the first day. Like, we knew each other for 24 hours. And they're like, she's great. She's wonderful. And he's like, your friends are really protective. I was like, yeah, this is my dance family.
Yeah.
I have definitely felt protected by my dance family, too, which is nice. But that's great. That's awesome. Some of the things she was talking about were hitting me because I feel like a lot of different emotions have come up in this past week with having to do with the last two people that I dated. One of them, so both of them over, like, it's not really a big deal. It's just really hard for me to move on. And even though I know what the outcome is and, whatever, it just feels like the process of letting go for me is just so long, basically. Yeah. So when she was talking about, people that say or feel like they only attract a certain type of man, the unavailable one and stuff like that, and she's like, actually, you can attract anyone. It's really what you're entertaining. And then she says, stop entertaining the ones that are not available. And basically what that means about you is that stems from low self-esteem. And then I was like, oh, wow, that is not what I was, feeling, because I've been actually feeling really good lately, and I haven't felt like this in quite some time. And that, different factors contributing, but I have been feeling great and just happy and just feeling really good overall. So in the past week, just seeing, like, a lot of affection with someone that I used to date with his new... Okay, so yeah, for that one, I've been past it for quite a while, but I don't know, just something, still weird feelings. Like, I'm happy for him, but at the same time, I don't really want to be seeing it. But we're so, like, involved in the same, things. It's hard. And it's hard to not see it at times, like, especially with an event like this. So I don't think it'll be like I have no clue if it'll be a regular occurrence. But anyway, him and I are in a great place, and I am trying to not let it bother me too, because there's no reason for it to bother me.
So you guys are good friends, right?
Yeah. So I think it's just because I want that for me. That's what it's coming down to, not that I want him. I'm like, oh. And so it's just that part of it. And then the other thing that came up for me is just potentially seeing a person I haven't seen in a few months. And, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I want to, but then part of me is, like, anxious about it. But anyway, so I can see how that kind of equates to low self-esteem. But, it's like we have mentioned before, it's continuous work. It's not like, oh, I feel good, and then it's not linear. It's just like sometimes I'm going to feel these insecurities a lot more than other times, and different circumstances are going to come up where I'm going to have to move past it and work more on the things that I still have to figure out. And, so just stop entertaining those unavailable people and the low self-esteem thing. Yeah. I was like,
Outside of the unavailability of these men, do you think that any of the A's or L's were missing for you or for them?
Yeah, so for sure one of them was he was missing adoration for me. And then the other one, I think there was a little bit of everything, but probably just not strong enough adoration, because otherwise this would be a different story.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
The attraction is there for them, attracted to me is very strong, the lust, I guess. But for me, I did find that I was attracted to both of them, and I did admire them for different reasons, but the adoration was lacking.
Yeah.
They didn't have it for me.
Yeah.
So then I couldn't have it for them, Yeah.
Because then it just feels like they're kind of walking over you, Like,
well, it just feels like they're just not that into me.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie?
Yeah.
He's just not that into you.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
That's such a hard realization, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just what it is, but it's like, all right, it doesn't feel good, but I have to accept it. We all have to accept it when it comes down to that, because that's what it comes down to.
A couple weeks ago, I had therapy, and I was telling my therapist I'm tired of thinking about the guy from the last episode that I talked to you guys about. And not often, but, just circumstantially, I'm like, this is really annoying. Like, I'm tired of my brain right now, right? And so I had a conversation with a friend of mine, maybe the next day or two, just talking to her about it. And I'm just like, I am tired of thinking about this. Like, I know that it's my insecurities that have come up, and I really would like this to just subside, like I will logic my way out of things, right? Or try and at least use that as like justifications in a sense, but it still doesn't remove the wounds that have been opened or the new wounds that have been formed from these circumstances. And so I'm just thinking about my, childhood wounds and things like that had come up in this situation. And, just getting to talk to my friend about that more and rage journal again and just like really like get it out. And what I learned is that I needed to figure out how to like forgive myself and forgive myself for like the choices that I made when I thought that I had the best information that I needed, or I was, you know, making decisions from a good place, or, you know, being compassionate and understanding and patient with people. But for the time that it was bothering me for so long, I was mad at myself. And it wasn't necessarily about them, because they are who they are. And their poor communication skills, or their lack of adoration, or lack of intentions or alignment or whatever, that is just who they are. But for me, I needed to say, girl, like, it's okay. Like, you gave someone a shot, right? Like, you wanted to get to experience this as well. And, you know, there was the attraction mutually. Like, I guess there was attraction, there was lust, there was... That's it. Because everything else was just not where it needed to be, right? Like, he was like, I wasn't loyal to him. I wasn't getting adoration from him. I admire, there was admiration. I will say that I admired, you know, some of the aspects of this person, and I know that there was, you know, some of that back towards me. But I guess so he had lust for me, and then certainly no loyalty, and then labor, like, he couldn't really do anything for me, right? And I think from a standpoint of like being in my career, being able to take care of the things, and the three of us, you know, we're single parents or single women. We are, you know, heads of households. Like, we are taking care of what we need to take care of. So we need a man who's going to come to the forefront and say, I can be part of this with you, right? Like, not that we need anyone to take care of us entirely, but they have to bring something to the table. Yeah. And so if a man is not maybe secure enough in their own masculinity, or secure enough with what they have to offer, that labor piece, like, they're wondering what can they do for you, right? But if you have someone who is confident and who can come to task, then you have someone who will show up, and that labor piece will be there for them.
And that labor piece is interesting because it's not like physical labor. It's like emotionally supporting you, and like security and stuff like that. And just like, as I've gotten a little bit more of that in the more recent experiences, it feels great, you know, because that's something that I've lacked from men before. Like, there was just zero investment from them in me. And so when I'm like, now having had some experience of them actually like investing in me, like, in different ways, just like making sure I'm okay, or like actually investing in dates and taking
emotional investment, for sure.
Yeah, emotional investment and actual dates, like planning them, paying for them, like that type of is a type of investment as well. And just having those experiences feels so good. And so these little bits and pieces that I'm taking away from them, you know, it's making me more aware of what I need to look for, and filter out the ones that don't provide those type of. So it is helpful to have these experiences, because, you know, I've had a lot of this, a lot of that, or it's just never all the things that need to be.
Yeah, it's not all aligned. It's like one piece or another.
Well, one, to say that the whole, you know, continuing to think about them. Yeah. I do feel like those situations are really hard and they're heartbreaking. It sucks. I think my biggest thing, and it was that I couldn't, like, I still, like, to this day, I think I said this on the last episode, I still don't understand it. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Maybe that's just because I wouldn't be the kind of person who would behave in that way and then be like, okay, see ya, you know. So I think that's a struggle I've had to get over, was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, because if you were to ask me, like, in the middle of it, I would be like, oh yeah, he adores me, he's attracted to me, he admires me, but it couldn't have been. No. But I feel like in this and coming out of it, I've learned so much about myself, and I've learned I'm learning my childhood wounds. Like, I've started to mother myself and tell myself the things that I wasn't told when I was younger. And I feel like that's making me stronger. So it's one of those things where they'll say, like, this will make you stronger. And you're like, how could this possibly make me stronger when it's beating me up so much? But it really does in a sense, because even just talking to you now, I can tell you're confident and you know who you are and you know what you want now. So you can eventually have that relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas if you would have stuck with whoever, then, you know, it's like there would have been a piece missing to it. With like them taking care of you financially and emotionally and wanting that. It's interesting because I feel like she had talked about the oversaturated advice on social media. And that would I feel like that kind of goes the opposite direction. They'll tell you not to be too needy. They'll tell you not to, like, you should be independent and pay for everything, you know, pay for things yourself, where it can be confusing. But I absolutely agree that I think men thrive on helping you and wanting to take care of you. Yeah.
I mean, some definitely want to provide financially more than others, where, you know, and it's just whatever works for you guys. Because I have not ever had such an experience of like everything being paid for. I always do like to contribute after a certain point, you know.
Sure.
But then having experienced a little bit of that, I was like, oh, this is nice. I could get used to it. But I've never been the type where I'm like expecting him to pay for everything. I hate feeling like, or making them feel like they're being taken advantage of, you know, stuff like that. Because I never know their financial situation right off the bat. I mean, I can kind of guess, but at the same time, it's not a factor of whether or not I'm going to date them, you know.
Sure. I think too, like you said, it's situational, and a big part of that too is the emotional, like taking care of your emotions and your needs. Like I feel like that's kind of a deal breaker more than the financial thing, because I'm the same as you, as where I'm like, I'm not going to take advantage of someone, but I'm certainly not going to say no if they want to pay.
Sure. I think the emotional, investment and security is 100% more valuable to me.
Yes.
Because I'm 37 now, and I've been my own provider for my whole adult life, pretty much. So I definitely can take care of myself that way. But it would be nice to have a partner to contribute, you know, and just have that partnership. But at the same time, I just want the emotional security way more.
Yeah.
Same. I feel the same.
In my last relationship, I thought that I had it all. I've shared a lot with Laura last year about this relationship until it crashed and burned for the dumbest of reasons. But what I learned in that experience is that actually what ties back to what Sadia said too is that you need to have a man who is disciplined, or you need to have, you know, people who are disciplined in your life, especially if you want them in your life romantically. And I realized that the discipline was missing. And she mentioned the discipline of like what you put into your body, financial discipline, sexual discipline, etc. And I realized that now, like looking back, and part of the contention was that financial discipline was missing. And honestly, part of what he puts into his body was missing, because he had an interesting relationship with alcohol, but he wasn't an alcoholic. It was just drinking at the dumbest times, or, you know, and missing our one homework of prioritize your relationship and have a date. We were long distance, but have a date, and, you know, a virtual date. And instead of arriving to our date on time, he went out drinking with his friends and asked me to wait. And that was the straw that like broke the camel's back, basically. And so listening to Sadia speak, I'm like, yeah, he was missing financial discipline. That was a huge point of contention, just based upon the circumstances that he was in. And I didn't realize that until we got further into the relationship, and I kept asking questions because he was being pretty vague. And I'm like, trying to understand more, like, well, what do you mean about this? Or can you tell me a little bit more about this? And we are also reading this book by the Gottmans, and it was called 8 Dates, and one of the dates being financial or finances. So you read the chapter, and then you talk about your finances, right? So if this is the person you're going to spend your life with, we have to have a good understanding about our finances, right? Yeah. And so then more information came out, and I was like, wow, like, yeah, that's not great. And I can't set myself up for any potential, I guess, weight of someone else because I have to think about my son. Anyway, so part of this person as well is that I started to feel like I was becoming the mother in the situation. And then I realized, oh, he thinks I'm his mother, and he has a questionable relationship with his mom where she was harder on him. And she said some very tough things to him at pivotal times in his life, to where when I'm holding him accountable about finances or asking questions, he then sees me as his mother. And that relationship's never going to work either, by the way, right, for everyone who might think that could work out. But you can't be in the situation or the place where you are parenting your adult partner either. Sure. Like, that doesn't feel good. And then obviously all of the sexual, like, admiration gone
100%.
For me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And attraction gone. I'm no longer attracted to you because I feel like I'm parenting a 30-something-year-old and I have a child who needs me. Yeah, who needs me. So anyway, I thought that was really interesting, the self-control part of it. Yeah, like adding that to the sort of application or to the list of, okay, what are some items to just look out for? It's not to like write everybody off, but just to understand, like, these are some key areas that there has to be some accountability and alignment for, because without it, it's probably not going to work. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, just the sexual discipline part of it, how unattractive is it knowing, that this guy that you're into, it is like sleeping around, like just gets with whoever, like has no standards. They're just like getting it on with anything. Anyone?
Yeah, anything that's walking in a warm body, like, that's just, it feels gross.
Yeah, it's definitely gross. So that's a turn off for sure. And then I haven't really like gotten too deep into the spending part of it, but then just what they put into their body, if we're talking alcohol.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely if that's, and I mean, I like to drink.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with drinking.
Taking over my life.
Yeah.
And it's a problem.
It's not compromising your relationships with yourself or with other people. Like, I think that's a very big differentiating factor.
Or if you're blaming your behavior on drinking, like, no. Right. That's not an excuse.
Yeah. I know Mandy and I are the only ones on the dating apps. I recently have ventured into different cities. And so I've been,
us about that.
Yeah, so I had gone out to, and by that I mean my app location was put somewhere else.
Curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I went to like Seattle and Portland and Chicago and Houston and Phoenix, Denver, like just around. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can, match with something. Because I have this idea that my person's not here in Boise.
Okay. I believe that for me as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I'm like, I gotta go find his ass. Where are you? Hello?
Okay, so how do they... So they know that you're not from there, though, because they look at your profile, and it says that you're... Like, how does that work?
Don't say it. Okay, I don't have that on my profile. Okay. But I also believe that my person won't care. Okay. Because they're going to be like, no, I gotta be with this woman.
So tell me about some of these experiences that you've had.
It's not going well. No. No, but okay, so I do have 2 matches. One from Seattle, one for Portland. And the one from Seattle is coming down next month. And supposed to, I need to follow up and make sure that that's actually happening. And then the other one, we just like stay in touch on Instagram now, which is fine. But that's where I'm at. And that's all. It's not really like anything super exciting yet. But I mean, if he does actually come down, in a few weeks, like, that'll be cool. Like, I've never had anybody, travel. Obviously, he's not staying with me. He's staying somewhere, but I do need to confirm that he's actually coming.
I actually had a good experience. I haven't met with him yet, but he was so sweet. He texted me because I was not feeling well this weekend. And he was just like, yeah, just let me know when we can get together. And so I got busy and I forgot to respond to him. And he was like, I in no way am saying that not answering me after a few hours, I think it was like 12 hours, is ghosting me. He's like, but I talk a big game about being a great communicator, and I just wanted to just make sure that you're still on the same page with me. And it was just really sweet. I thought that was very sweet. Like, he communicated his feelings. And then I was like, told him, oh, I'm so sorry, I've just been busy, but yes, I would love to get together. And he's like, thank you. A lady friend of mine told me to reach out and say that so I don't screw this up. And it was just so cute.
That's really cute.
So cute.
Yeah.
So I'm actually looking forward to meeting him and seeing how it goes.
I think that's good because a lot of time it's reverse, right? Like, we're the ones waiting on them to respond. And she said this in the episode too. Nobody is that busy. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting to hear you say that you got busy and didn't respond.
But I will say, just to, like, I can tend to be a ghoster, like, if I'm, like, put off. And so, and I actually do that more often than not, believe it or not. Like, I tend to, like, my emotions tend to overtake me a little bit if I'm, like, very involved with a person, but I'm very picky. Mm-hmm. And so that is one thing that I feel like kind of taking up what she said, we have to be the person that we want coming in, right? Yeah. So, like, I'm trying to be, like, a really good communicator, even if it's uncomfortable, and being like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm just not into you.
But it's not like you weren't responding because you didn't like him or didn't want to go out.
No.
With him. You just kind of forgot about it. And then, so it's a good thing he reached out because
it was
a lot
so
of people
sweet.
probably wouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I appreciate that he reached out too. I'm like, I don't think I've ever had that happen before. I think that mostly I've been on the side of someone ghosting me. Yeah. And, like they say in the episode too, it's just the, lack of communication skills or being able to, like, sit with themselves kind of, like, a little respectfully. It's like some amount of emotional immaturity of not being able just to communicate what the feelings are of, like, getting out of that situation. And as a person who, what am I, the ghostee, the receiving of ghosts, or the ghosted, it makes you, like, question, and it brings up some anxiety, like, this is annoying, but I've gotten to this place where I feel much better about that, like, whatever, or, like, setting expectations even with who I'm communicating with, right? Like, I have some friends where sometimes it takes them forever to reply, right? But then I know that that's how my friend is. So then it doesn't matter, right? But then if you have somebody that you're interested in, there is a little bit more of an expectation that, like, they reply maybe not super fast, but, like, within a timely manner would be nice, and, like, not leave you hanging and whatever. And so when there's, like, good communication and it's really poor and it's just, like, this, like, disaster or this sort of unorganized communication style, like, that is very frustrating.
I will say I've never ghosted someone I went on an actual date with. I've never been like that, like, disconnected from humanity. But
just from, like, chatting.
Just like chatting, like, I'll let it, like, fizzle out. And so
you're like, okay.
Yeah. So I've never, like, gone on a date with someone and been like, peace.
That's happened to me, actually. Actually,
you ghosted someone?
Well, we just, neither one of us followed up with each other. Yeah.
I wouldn't say that's ghosting then. I think it's just kind of, like, maybe just a mutual, like, I don't know.
Because if he would have followed up with you and then you hadn't responded, then that would have been ghosting.
I'm not a ghoster, and he didn't ghost me, I guess. We just mutually were like, that's not it. So if you could pick one thing or a couple things that you would want someone to take away from the episode of Jay Shetty and Sadia Khan, what would you want that to be?
She talks about walking away when you feel disrespected, because the longer you stay in there, as soon as you allow any form of disrespect, then they're just going to be like, oh, I got her. It's fine. She'll
be
put
loyal.
up with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's so loyal to me that she'll put up with it and won't leave me. I can basically get away with whatever. Mm-hmm. So it is really hard, I think, because especially at the beginning, setting boundaries is hard, and like figuring out how they function and how you both function together. But I know that I've personally definitely stayed too long still feeling disrespected and just never voiced it, and then it just kind of made me feel less than, that don't let it get to that point. So that's just me giving myself advice too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that what she said was withdraw and remove access. That's huge. Because, we don't want to be disrespected, and that's not love.
Right.
And that's not a good relationship. So I would say, like, that's huge. If you can get to that discipline in your life where you do remove your access from them, and that's where the start of having a good relationship is. Because then you know what you want, you know what your boundaries are, and you stick to them. But, I mean, honestly, if I were to tell our listeners, I would say just listen to the episode, because, like I said, it was so insightful.
Oh, yeah.
So
Definitely
insightful.
listen to that.
Yeah. You'll be thinking about so many examples of your prior relationships, or maybe even a relationship that you're in now, or a situationship or whatever, where you're like, oh, it's time to go. Or maybe it's affirmative. Maybe you do have the 3 L's and the 3 A's and the la la la. You have
the la la.
Yes. And all I had was la. Less than attraction.
Me too.
Sometimes I just have
Yeah. But yeah, it makes me think about so many of my prior relationships, and even, when they mentioned that if you think about like getting cheated on, I've been cheated on before, and it's partly your fault because there was something that probably came up, in the first date or so to be an indicator of what could happen. And there are a few instances, to my knowledge, I've only been cheated on like in, I say only, in like 2 relationships that I know, maybe 3. Actually, probably 3. I know, only 3. But just the signs were there beforehand, and had I followed that and had higher self-esteem at those times and been able to like stand up for myself better in those times, my life would be so different, right? But ultimately, we are in part supposed to have these experiences so that way we can get to having all the la la la's in our relationships.
We will, ladies. It's gonna happen.
When I found out I was being cheated on, the most recent time that I know of.
Right.
No, it was the most recent time. That was the last like actual relationship that I was in, like officially, I guess. Anyway, I saw 0 signs, and everyone, including myself, was like shocked because he was just portraying himself as this amazing, would never do that type of person, and that's why I was attracted to him. And he was definitely, that was very shocking. So I don't think it's always
probably not always,
unless it's like
glaring at you.
On the first date and you ignore it.
First date, or maybe the first few months in my instance.
Okay, first few months, I'll give you that. Because the first 3 months are, great. I feel like after the first 3 months, that's when things start happening, different situations, different things start coming
Real
up, different sides of all of us, So, it'd be really hard to tell in the first few months unless they're like literally over there making out with, and you're like, all right, I'll take you back.
I'll give one example. I was in my early 20s, and the guy that I was seeing at the time, I had gone to like my cousin's wedding in California. We had just started seeing each other, so he wasn't invited. Like the family didn't know him, you know? And so that weekend he decided to go back to the city that he lived in a few states away to help his ex-girlfriend paint her house. And I was like unaware until he got there that that's what he was doing, but we were already in a relationship. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that you were going? Like, why are you going there? The way I blew his phone up, calls and calls and calls and calls. And that was anxiety, insecurity, like all the things were coming up for me. And obviously I did stay with him, you know, after that, but fast forward to the demise of our relationship was because of his relationship with other women and not being able to respect me enough to not entertain other women.
To be loyal.
Right,
well,
to be
says
loyal,
that
right.
in there, that patterns don't lie.
Exactly. So in that instance for me, if my self-esteem were higher, then I would have never continued on in that relationship. But again, this was my early 20s, so this was like, I don't know, over 10 years ago, right? So me now, I'm like, absolutely not. Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really get into that part where she talks about pay attention to their past. It was so interesting because back then, like in your 20s, I would be like, oh, that happened, or you know, you're telling me this version of the story, and then in my mind I'd be like, oh, you won't do that to me, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, they will.
Yes, they will.
Yeah.
So now it's definitely like, I can't remember who. Well, I do remember who I told this to, but I was telling him, like, I'm just very curious about, you know, the past relationships, not because I want to know everything that you guys did or whatever in, like, the happy times, but, like, how did it come to an end? Like, why? Like, what did you learn from it? What are you going to change? You know, if a lot of it was on you, or what did you learn from it if it was something they were doing? You know, it's just so interesting to learn about the situation that they were in before, or, you know, even a few relationships before, just to know. And of course, it's hard because you're only going to really hear their version.
But it's also how they describe it, right?
Exactly.
Like,
Yes.
the whole, all your exes are crazy, and, like, you know, like, that whole thing, like, then it's like, okay, well, were they, though? And then you start to pick up some things that, like, just feel, like, it just feels wrong. Like, you might not be able to pinpoint it, or at least I'll speak for myself. Like, I might not be able to pinpoint it, but, like, something just feels off, or I just feel uncomfortable, and that's probably my soul being like, this is not it, girl. Like, I just hope you can receive the message, and so you can, you know, make space for the person who's meant for you.
Right.
But yeah, the patterns that we all carry. So I don't know what my pattern is, but I don't think it's that anymore. You know, I at least have evolved. Like, I know that I would not accept that now, right? And I've certainly faltered, but from a grand scheme of things, like, I've gotten much better, right? The more that I've gotten to know and I guess love myself, the more that I exude that. And so it's helping to ideally attract the right person, but then also, if I'm on the precipice of entering in a situation that I really should not be in, then I can recognize that because I've gotten to, like, grow and mature and be able to understand myself and my feelings and, like, what's coming up for me, to be like, I don't feel comfortable in this moment, and so I can remove myself.
Have you ever read The Body Keeps a Score?
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
I would recommend reading that.
Yeah.
I recommend everyone read it. It's very good, but it talks about that and, like, how you can feel these things in your body. I think I talked about in the last episode that the last week I was with my old situation, my old relationship, like, I was literally physically, like, sick. Like, it was making me sick, and that's why I had to, like, cut it off completely. But your body definitely remembers.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like your soul remembers or something. I don't know.
Yeah. What are some patterns that you two think you're working through?
The pattern of men that I was with before, I kind of project that on any possibility. So, like, I feel like if you're looking for something, you're going to find it, you know? And I can, like, tend to be talking to someone or go on a date with someone and, like, be looking for, they're going to do this to me, they're going to do this to me. And then, like, the slightest thing, I would be like, I'm sorry, no, I can't do this because...
Oh, like you would find something wrong?
Yeah, well, I feel like maybe that's what it is because it's like I'll remember the past situation and like that was so gut-wrenching I don't want to go through it again and like how do
like
you know?
Triggering.
Yeah, and so then I'm like almost like hyper aware of it and so like the littlest things I kind of project that onto people. I mean, I feel like just even this last weekend, like just getting gaga, and I don't think that's bad. I think we all do it. It's
Get
not
excited.
Yeah, you get excited. It's flattering.
Yeah.
But it's just maybe like we just said a little while ago, like with the ghosting stuff, like kind of maturing more in the dating life because I am so new to it. I'm so new to it. I'm brand new. But I think I can be a little gullible with it. Like, you know, because I was like, oh, surely this guy is going to be interested. Like, he's trying to impress all my friends and he's this and that. And it's the same pattern of somebody's love bombing me and I'm being gullible with it and thinking that I'm like so special to them and whatever. And so I think that would probably be my biggest pattern.
I think for me it's kind of the opposite because I am a little bit of standoffish, you know, and I'm just like, whatever, you know, but then when I am open to dating someone, it's because I actually see potential and like I'm like into them, you know. So then my pattern is like I invest way more into them than they do into me, and even if I try not to, but as I'm learning, you know, to break that pattern somehow, and then it just ends up being someone that was never actually available, or just not who they say they were or they presented themselves to be, or maybe they are a little bit, but then it just, when it comes down to it, you know, they just don't step up or whatever, or just not true to what they say. I don't know. It's complicated, but I have a pattern of just not being able to detach as fast as I would like to, and also seemingly the unavailable guys that I don't know. Then I started doubting myself when I am giving someone a chance. When I'm like, okay, kind of trusting more and more, but then I'm like, after it ends, I'm like, I feel like I see it differently, so then I don't know what to trust it anymore. You know, that's kind of what I was gonna get at. That I have a pattern of feeling like I can't even trust myself anymore, which is really difficult.
Yeah,
because I'm like, what's real? What's real?
We have a different approach, but the same result.
Mine is taking more time. So maybe not letting the relationship evolve at a healthier pace. I'd say that would be my prior patterns. Again, right now I don't really have anyone to test that with, but so that's what's kind of like.
Do you feel like you just jump into things too quickly and you want it to be like relationship right away and not kind of slowly get to know each other? Or
it's not everyone. I'm trying to think of how, like, I guess that's me assuming that's my pattern. I'm trying to think of how to explain it, because with my last like full relationship, yes, that's what that was. But then I have other times where I'm like very guarded because there's something probably misaligned and I'm like protecting myself, right? And then there will be times where I'm all in, right? And so it's not, I don't know, it's a very disorganized pattern. It's not a pattern.
I feel the same way too, like what I was saying. Yeah, like I feel like what I just said, but also I feel like I can also be very picky with people and be like have like a high bullshit radar, you know, like I don't know. Yeah, I'm the same as you. Like it's all over the place. It's everywhere. Scrambled.
Yeah, our pattern is
yeah.
Yeah. Man, well, this is really nice. I'm glad that we have our little professional setup in here, which seems really cool. And I'm really enjoying our conversations. And how do you guys feel about this episode?
I feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it was therapeutic.
Yeah. Yes. This is a little bit of therapy.
Good, funny moments and some good stories too.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys coming out for yet another episode of Real Relatable. And we will see you all on the next episode.
Woo!
Yay!